How did your attempt to impress a date with military stories completely backfire? I learned the hard way when I met Sarah at a coffee shop and decided to play up my army experience. I'd been out of the service for 2 years working retail and struggling with dating apps. When this gorgeous woman struck up a conversation about my veteran license plates, I saw my chance to seem more interesting than I actually was. Sarah seemed genuinely curious about military life, so I started sharing stories from my deployment to Kuwait. Except I may have embellished things a bit. Okay, a lot. My actual job was supply clerk at a rear base. Safe, boring, mostly involved counting MREs and ordering toilet paper. But Sarah didn't need to know that. Instead, I told her about the time I single-handedly defended our outpost from insurgent attack, how I carried 2 wounded soldiers to safety under heavy fire. Complete fiction, but she was hanging on every word. Sarah asked great questions, really engaged, wanted to know about tactics, equipment, chain of command. I was making stuff up as fast as I could talk, described firefights I'd seen in movies, quoted lines from war documentaries, even threw in some fake metal citations I'd memorized from Wikipedia. She seemed impressed, asked if I wanted to grab dinner sometime. I figured my strategy was working perfectly. During dinner, she asked more detailed questions. What unit was I with? What forward operating base? I scrambled to keep my story straight, but Sarah kept digging deeper. Then she mentioned her brother served in Kuwait around the same time. Same area I claimed to be in. Small world, right? My stomach started churning. Sarah pulled out her phone, started showing me pictures. Her brother's unit, their base, the actual places I'd been lying about. That's when things got really uncomfortable. She described the real security situation there, how quiet it actually was, how the biggest excitement was usually equipment failures or food poisoning. Nothing like the combat zone I'd been describing. I tried to backtrack, claim I was thinking of a different deployment, but Sarah wasn't buying it anymore. Her questions became pointed, specific, like she knew exactly what she was talking about. Finally, she set down her fork and looked me straight in the eye. You know what's funny? My brother never mentioned any major attacks at that base. In fact, he said it was one of the safest assignments in theater. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe we were thinking of different places. There were lots of bases over there. Sarah nodded slowly. I'm sure there were. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small leather folder, opened it on the table between us. Military ID card, but not just any military ID. Officer's ID. Captain Sarah Mitchell, United States Army. Current active duty. I just finished my 3rd deployment to Afghanistan, she said calmly. Before that, 2 tours in Iraq. I've actually been to every base you claim to have served at. My face went completely red. The restaurant felt like it was spinning. She continued in the same level voice. I was hoping to meet someone who understood military life. Someone honest about their service. Instead, I got a wannabe hero making up war stories. She signaled for the check. The real shame is, your actual job was important. Supply clerks keep everyone fed and equipped. That matters. But apparently it wasn't exciting enough for you. Sarah paid her half of the bill and stood up. Next time you want to impress someone, try telling the truth. Real service members can spot stolen valor from a mile away. She walked out, leaving me sitting there with my fake stories and wounded pride. The waiter came over asking if everything was okay. I spent the rest of that night deleting the dating apps and rethinking my approach to honesty. Never embellish my service record again. Last month, I saw Sarah at the grocery store. She was in uniform, probably heading to base. Our eyes met briefly across the produce section. She gave me the slightest nod, picked up her apples, and continued shopping. No anger, no judgment, just the acknowledgement of someone who taught me an important lesson about integrity. That nod somehow felt worse than if she'd called me out publicly.